Well, gents, the moment is finally here. It's time for Supergirl. And if your first reaction to that is,
Who?
congratulations, you're not this movie's intended audience, just like 99.9% of the world. I am getting so tired of these movies and have completely lost interest in them.
I hate this.
Which is why I saw Supergirl on opening night. Superman is considered the granddaddy of the Western comic book industry. There wouldn't be superhero comics without him, and even after 88 years in the spotlight, he's still massively popular. So, of course, Brie Larson said, "Hey, it's time we turned him into a woman." But, like I said, the character is massively popular. Too popular to pull a gender swap without having even the pink-haired Landwells, and soy boys wonder if they've gone too far. So, Brie Larson came up with the next brilliant idea. Create a female version of the character and give her blonde hair. Yeah, that's not a self-insert at all, Brie. Because anytime a man has something to value, a woman wants it. No wonder their movement is called Me Too. It was only a matter of time before she got her own film heavily catered to modern audiences. First, we had a movie about Superman, brilliantly titled Superman. So, of course, we got a spin-off about Supergirl, cleverly titled Supergirl. Wow, James Gunn is such a genius. The film revolves around Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, Superman's Kryptonian cousin, who spends most of her days drinking anything she can find in liquid form and getting fully plastered. More like Supergirl, am I right? Unfortunately, she gets caught up in a plot to save her dog from being poisoned while aiding a young woman who's out for revenge against the same guy who poisoned the dog. My, how convenient. Now, I could talk about the challenges of adapting an 8-issue comic book into a single feature film, or the film's ambiguous approach to established systems of justice, the underlying themes of an intergalactic immigrant's struggles of adapting to a new home she doesn't understand. But it's easier to slap a rage bait title on this video and bash the movie and the main actress's appearance for some clicks. Now, I already know I'm not gonna like this film because the protagonist is female.
And it's just because she's a female.
So let's just get this over with quick, shall we? Supergirl continues James Gunn's DCU's tradition of bashing on everything conservative. Superman was about an illegal alien who makes an enemy out of a billionaire and a dictator and ruins their plans to take over another country. Supergirl, on the other hand, is about a girl boss who busts a human trafficking ring that deals in underage girls. How dare she attack our closely held values? The studio wanted you to note that the actress playing Supergirl is a total girl boss just by her name. 'Cause she's all cock. And she's got a face that could sink 1,000 ships.
She was very weird looking.
Another layer of badassery is that Miss Cock drinks a lot. It's proof that the woke folks in Hollywood secretly watch my videos, including Brie Larson, because they figured that by featuring a connoisseur of the spirits, like myself, I'd be tempted to go see this film and perhaps even recommend it. But Brie Larson is a woman, so she's programmed for deception. By the end of the film, Millie Aldong, Supergirl, says she's given up drinking, effectively labeling it a negative trait that needs to be treated. Okay, Kara, more booze for me then. The reason for her alcoholic affinity is depression. From what exactly? She's only 23. How can you regret life if you've barely lived it? What reason could she possibly have for being down in the dumps? You ask me, Millie Allnuts is being a bit of a drama queen. And if you think her dealing with a loss of a home by listening to music with a set of retro headphones sounds familiar,
He's trying to copy it.
it's a film filled with things that just don't make sense. Why is her name Kara Zor-El? If she's Kryptonian like Cal, shouldn't she be named Kara-El? Why does she have her father's whole name? I'll tell you why, dear viewer. Because the only way for a woman to get ahead is to use a man's name. She's got Kryptonian powers, including flight and the ability to survive in the vacuum of space. So, why does she need a spaceship? Why was she wearing a spacesuit? She could have just flown to Earth. Why is she taking the space bus? Why can't she just fly Krypto to the sun and heal him in the Why can't she just fly Krypto to the sun and heal him from the poison? It makes no sense. Although I shouldn't be surprised, because this script was written by a woman.
I hate this. It is revolting.
Because the producer knew nobody's ever heard of Supergirl or Millie Al Johnson, they decided to throw in Lobo to still attract a crowd. And yeah, he ends up stealing the entire show every time he's on screen. He's a womanizer, a hard drinker, a badass who rides his hog wherever he wants, whenever he wants, and he cannot be bothered listening to little Ruthie's plans for revenge. Sounds like a you problem, kid. Heck, even Supergirl is afraid of him. Brie Larson was starting to notice this and demanded that his on-screen presence be cut down to just a few minutes. They would have been better off spending the $200 million budget on a film about this mountain of walking testosterone. If they made a movie about the main man himself, I guarantee it would break the box office and, dare I say, have the potential to be on par with a masterpiece like Predator. Yes, Predator. But he's a straight male who's literally white, so of course his head's first on the chopping block, which is the equivalent of having an ice maker in the desert, only to bury it in the sand. Gents, I'm starting to think James Gunn was actually hired by Disney to take down DC from within. Another straight white male victim of this woke script is the main villain, Creme de la Creme. He's just a regular chap who likes weapons and probably has a lifetime NRA membership, so he must be the bad guy. He also supplies his people with plenty of young girls to do it as they please. Now, before you go calling him a pedo or anything, just remember what Megyn Kelly said.
He was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls. He wasn't into, like, 8-year-olds.
Let's see, an alien pirate with a unique weapon who gets paid to kidnap children. Now, where have I seen that before? It's clear he's not here to play games, because when Millie Old Junk Supergirl gets uppity, he kills off 2 NPCs who are trying to help her, along with their daughter. But all 3 of them belong to
The blacks.
so nothing of value was lost. His appearance is drastically altered to cater to the agenda. In the comics, he's a handsome rogue with red hair and a majestic physique. Yeah, I'd rather watch him than any of these female characters. Just look at those rippling pectorals. Creme de la Creme and his ravaged brigands get involved in the plot with Creme kills the family of, what's her name again? Ruthie, yeah, her. There's 2 men in her family, including Dad, who's apparently a highly skilled swordsmith. But of course, it's the female character who survives the attack. I mean, there's something off about her brother. He's obviously got a touch of autism. But the idea that 2 males would fall and the little Taylor Swift fan survives to live another day is probably the most unbelievable thing in this film about flying space aliens. It's obvious the only reason Ruthie is even in the story is because we all know what happens when you put 2 women together. They talk. Aside from literally pissing on straight white males and established conservative values, the film is also decidedly anti-American. The Kryptonians receive their immense power from the yellow sun, and as any scientist will tell you, those stars are actually white, which means Millie All Willie's Supergirl gets her strength from white power. Now, what happens when she's under a red sun? She loses her powers. Why? Because Brie Larson and her woke mob want you to believe that the great white power of American ingenuity is quickly felled by a powerful red mass. In other words, communism. That's what the S on her chest stands for. Scummunism. Then there's the green kryptonite sun that also drains her power. And what's the most powerful green thing? dollar bills, baby. This is the film's way of saying that capitalism is a crippling concept and that we should all bow to the superior red wave of communism. No wonder they elected the socialist communist second cousin to Osama bin Laden as mayor of New York.
Helicopter, helicopter. Helicopter, helicopter.
Little Ruthie is about to have her girl boss mum in and kill Creme Brulee in revenge, but Kara gives her a speech about something I wasn't paying attention and convinces her not to do it, only for her to do it herself. She's not your average superhero, that's for sure. And again, it's worth mentioning that she gives up the drink, implying that needs to be done to become a better person. The one good thing about it is that it happens right at the end of this woke catastrophe. I'll drink to that. Last call before I close up for the night. In the end, Millie Allwiener's Supergirl is a boring, woke, poorly filmed and effeminately written piece of garbage that should have had its script tossed in the Hallmark Channel bin, and doesn't give me much hope for James Gunn's already failing DCU. But you just know that in spite of all that, the pink-haired Landwells and soy boy gun sycophants will vigorously defend this train wreck and continue to advocate for Hollywood slop.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is revolting.
More?
Please.
In fact, if Supergirl is anything, it's a ringing endorsement to bring back the Snyderverse. While such a Cal obviously doesn't have the same good genes as Millie Al Dingaling, she was still the right kind of edgy and even invites the male gaze to take a look at her knuckers. Flaunting if you've got it. You know what? I'm just gonna flaunt my inherent bias and go watch Predator again. Ah, Predator. I raise a glass to you. Alright, story's over. Get out.